Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped. Something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
How's Monday meetup?
So good.
Big crowd. I saw a big crowd.
Yeah. It's just, and I said this to them at the end of the call. It really parts of mine just feel so amazed at how fruitful every single week is.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. How was your Monday so far?
Lots of ways. Yeah, lots of ways.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get into it.
We totally can. Whatever you'd like.
Thank you again for doing this.
My pleasure. I'm very happy to.
How about a minute?
Yeah, let's do it. I'll set a timer.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay.
About a minute.
Yeah.
Any parts you would like to be with today?
Let's see. At the moment, I'm feeling kind of nervous. And mostly nervous. So I'm trying to check in with that part.
Yeah. I welcome that part.
Thank you. I think it's because there's really just one thing that's going on with me that's occupying all of my cycles, all of my energy. And parts of me are just so sick of thinking about it and talking about it. So navigating that.
Yeah. And you're familiar with what that thing is that parts feel sick of talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then I made a list of other stuff that I could talk about. And we could get to that. There is some live IFS stuff I'd love to talk about, and I think doing it here with you might be good, because if we share it, then it can be shared with everyone.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe we could talk about that stuff and come and circle back around to the other. If it's,
Yeah.
if parts, yeah, I thought maybe I'd have a warm up conversation about other stuff.
Sure. And do you want to just check in just with yourself and the nervous part on how that would feel?
Yeah, he likes that.
Great. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So here are some things challenges I'm having with live IFS that I don't know what to do about. Okay. First is that there isn't transparency around when a caller is no longer a caller anymore. Like
transparency
to the listener. And I don't know how to do that.
And what do you mean exactly by transparency, if you could get
I just mean
that part.
When we don't hear from someone ever again, we just don't hear from them ever again. And sometimes that's all the information I have, but a lot of times it's not. A lot of times there's a reason. Sometimes a caller and I are having lots of conversations about why we're going to stop working together. And none of that is shared. And I feel like that's everything else is pretty much visible to the listener.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm doing it a service or not having integrity to the whole story if there's no whatever happened to this person.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it sound good to see if there's some curiosity around that?
Yeah.
Why that might be, and yeah.
Yeah. I guess I just wanted to put it out there. I'm also happy to
just riff and talk about that. I have plenty of thoughts, and parts have plenty of thoughts on that.
Okay.
But if it's something you want to drop into internally, we can also do that.
I think neither. I think I just want to put it out there, and I'd like to hear your thoughts sometime, and I have my own thoughts, and maybe I just want to put that out there as like, I feel like that is something that's missing, and I don't have a solution for it at the moment. So
got it.
Putting that out there.
I've noted it. It's here.
Yes.
Something to mull over.
Okay. Ready for second one?
Ready.
Okay. With the backlog being as long as it is, today I published Jeannie's feelings about Christmas. The community can't support the caller very well in the moment with what's going on with them in the moment.
In real time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine there's both pros and cons to that.
Yeah. Okay. Just putting that out there.
Jotted down.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Ready for the next one?
I am.
Thanks. I can't promote the podcast. And I feel like I can't for reasons I've talked about and I can talk about more. But it's like I want to. I have parts of me, or if the goal is to get the self energy out into the world, then I'm like, well, I should do some promoting. And yeah, I feel like that's at odds with my commitment to individual callers or all callers. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're recognizing the kind of polarization there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a strange place to be where it's like, I like this thing so much and I do want to talk about it with everyone, and I do want to do some promoting of it, and kind of feel like I shouldn't. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, both of those parts make sense to me. The commitment to the callers and care around the sensitivity of the calls.
Mm-hmm.
And also wanting to promote this work and how to do it and how to get in touch with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are my challenges with Live IFS.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Would you like another minute of meditation, or would you like to see what's present?
All right. Yeah, I can talk about what has been occupying. I don't know what else I would talk about other than this thing that's, again, taking up all of my mental energy. But I definitely have parts that are really sick of thinking about it and talking about it.
Yeah. They're all welcome. What feels right to go to first?
Just doing that welcoming of them.
Yeah. Me too.
Okay. Okay. So, Trailhead. Well, I mean, in a nutshell, it's about my physical health. Kind of sick of being sick. I stayed in a hotel room last night because I'm so out of ideas about what to eliminate from what I'm doing that some days I feel great and some days I feel really, really not great. I was like, maybe I must be allergic to my house. I can't think of any other variables I can eliminate. Yeah.
What did you notice?
What did I notice with my experiment? Yeah, felt good today. But then again, I've been in my house now for 10 hours and still feel fine. Anyway, I don't know. One reason that I don't want to talk about it is because it's so complex, and it's like medical, it's physical. It's I thought when I ate stuff it would make me feel bad, and so I don't eat and I feel good, and that means this. And so yeah, it just feels like a medical conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely have, all kinds of parts around it, that's plenty of emotion around it and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Does it feel right to check in with that part that's really sick of talking about it?
Yes.
Great.
Let's check in with that one.
Let's see what we can notice.
Okay.
How are you sensing
that? That might be the nervousness. It's like it's like it just feels so kind of antisocial to be like, hey, I don't feel good. I feel sick. Like, when you talk to someone and you try to lead with a smile and your best foot forward and yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
I just really don't like, I guess this part just really doesn't like that's so often kind of where I am. And that's, yeah, sick of talking about it to others and taking their time and using up their empathy. Yeah.
And how are you feeling towards that part as you hear that? That it views talking about these health things as kind of antisocial and not what people want to hear.
How do I feel towards it? I just want to say I get it, but I know that's not a feel towards.
Yeah, that's okay to
just mean blended.
let it know that. Yeah. But you feel like you get it, this part, and what it's saying. Is there curiosity around that?
No, I would say there is not curiosity. Yeah, I would say it's mostly just blended.
Yeah.
Feeling nervous, maybe some shame, like
and how does that show up in the body?
It's kind of like a flavor of nervousness where it's like, don't look at me, don't talk to me. That kind of embarrassed kind of feeling.
Yeah. Any specific area that you're noticing that?
Upper body, everything upper body. So
yeah.
Face, neck. Yeah.
Yeah. And how is that to feel those sensations in the upper body?
They are unpleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can let it know that.
Let it know that it's unpleasant?
That you feel it.
Okay.
That you feel it, you sense it. And that dialing it back just a little bit.
That helped.
Yeah. Yeah, you can thank that part for hearing you.
That helps.
Yeah. And how are you feeling towards this part that says it's antisocial to talk about the
Feeling
health stuff?
appreciative of it.
Yeah.
Thanks for looking out for how we show up with people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Does it want to tell you a little bit more about that? Looking out and how it looks out for you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just about not being received well if you're complaining,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, that's its concern.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know you get that. And anything else that it wants to show you around that?
Yeah, it was showing me stuff. It felt like that was a quick turn into glimpsing of exiles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how is that feeling?
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, you can let it know that. You're okay with it sharing
Yes.
with you. And does it make sense what it was showing you?
Yes. Yep.
Is there anything you would like to ask it about that?
I would like to ask it to flesh that exile part out more for me so that I can at least make a note of it in case I decide to work with that part later.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't work with it now, to help me bookmark it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see if it would be open to that.
Okay.
Or what its concerns might be if it were to do that.
Mm-hmm. I'm not getting much clarity as far as like identification on that.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of sensations.
Yeah, how are those sensations?
It's the feeling of want to cry but you're not supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Or that will just make things worse feeling.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that feel like the same part that's concerned about being antisocial and talking about things that
feels different. That feels like the exile, and that definitely has a more child feeling about it, but I'm not getting much specifics. Not seeing much about that.
Yeah. Well, you can thank that protector for showing you that.
Mm-hmm.
We did ask it if it could not go fully into it right now, but maybe just show us a glimpse. And sounds like It's doing that?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Anything else it wants to express about any concerns that it might have about learning more about that exile?
It doesn't seem to have the concerns about that. And it also doesn't feel sick of talking about it right now, or that those feelings are, it's relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have a part that just wants to give some context, which is in this past week, I decided to go into full overdrive, try to figure this out, this health thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that has included doing parts work. So in fact, that's kind of one of the reasons I decided to put so much energy into it in the past week, was because I could hear parts, a different part that's like sick of being sick kind of part.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, well, what do you need? And it said, yeah, we need to increase the amount of attention on this. Stop ignoring when it's, a 1 out of 5 headache. Like, it should be 0, stuff like that.
So, I wanted to get more focused on that.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. And a lot of that has been fruitful, and so just want you to know that if it sounds like I'm leaving stuff out, a lot of it's just because I actually have done quite a bit of work around this with a handful of parts.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you to that part who wanted to add that in. That's good context.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I heard you mention that the nervous, sick of talking about it part was feeling less sick of talking about it in this moment.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's still like not thrilled about.
Sure. Yeah.
That we're ever have to think about it or talk about it, but it's not. Those sensations aren't there anymore.
Yeah. And do you get a sense for what this part is concerned about if it didn't do what it does? If it didn't most of the time have that sort of, oh, this is antisocial.
Yes. Yep. So that points again straight back to the exiles, which is, I say like not being received well, but it's showing me that in a really drastic way of like, here, this person doesn't talk to you anymore. You've used up their patience and empathy, and they're not in it anymore.
Yeah.
You only get to complain so much.
Got it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So once we've used up somebody's patience, we lose them.
Yeah. Or worse, you don't lose them, but the quality of the relationship changes.
Yeah. How does it change?
Yeah. Then I'm just thinking of examples in my life, then they can come to kind of resent you or, That's kind of the feeling. Yeah, they're still there. They're just, yeah, resentful or disgusted or ugh, shut up
Yeah.
feeling. Yeah.
It no longer feels like a supportive space.
Right.
Yeah. And how are you feeling hearing that and seeing some of those memories?
I would say I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling fine hearing those memories, and I think they feel true. That'll make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can let it know that. I have more questions, but I also want to allow you to be with the part in the ways that feel right.
Okay, let me just have a minute. Yeah, I don't have any other direction that's calling to me right now.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear some questions.
Great. Yeah, I'm curious how old this part thinks you are.
Okay. The one that was sick of talking about it.
Yes.
Okay.
For those reasons that it fleshed out with us.
Okay, first number I got was 14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
13, 14.
Yeah. Do you want to explore that at all?
Sure. That number surprised me because that was not where I was guessing it would point to.
Yeah.
Okay, explored.
You feel like you understand the connection to those ages?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think there are two. One
Two
is
connections.
two things about that age. One being like dating and, being manly.
Mm-hmm.
And the other being more kind of when I feel like my parents were done. Kind of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, done giving a fuck.
Done parenting.
Yeah, my problems, including medical, were not, yeah, they were getting pretty tired of me.
Yeah, like this part was saying before about that change in the relationship where it no longer feels supportive or like a space you can turn to with that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and those connections, both the dating and what it means to be a man, and also this change in the relationship with your parents.
Yep.
Those make sense too.
Yes.
Yeah. Me too. And does this part feel like you get that
Yes.
Yeah. And how is it for it to share with you like this?
It's good. He likes it. I like it.
Mhm. Is there anything else you would like to share with you around those ages before you updated a bit with where you are now?
No, I'm not getting anything else.
Great.
I'll do that updating.
Yeah. Anything you'd like to show it about where you are now?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
How does it take that in?
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I don't have much detail to share. Thumbs up.
That's completely okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And what would this part need from you going forward? That might help it soften
Okay.
back into a role it might enjoy more.
Mm-hmm. It says it needs me to hire some really great medical professionals.
Mm-hmm.
And I found some. But anybody I work with, it's like you work with them and they're like, how are you doing today? And you tell them what you can remember, and then they give some diagnosis, and then you see them 6 weeks later. And it's like, no, I need somebody to pay attention with me every day this week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because like I'm tracking all these things, and something that I'm doing is affecting how I'm feeling, and I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And by the time I talk to the person again, it's all kind of old news, or it's stale. The data is kind of stale. And
Right.
yeah, I just have never really, I've even tried hiring people online that I can, ENTs and such that I could like chat with more regularly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it wants me to do more of that.
Yeah. So it's sort of saying we need another set of eyes on the
Yeah,
day to day.
and something that's not in that traditional model of go to your checkup
Right.
and then I'll see you some other day.
When I see you. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no time to go through the data in 45 minutes with a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of
But
sense
then
to
they
me.
really want to like have a diagnosis. They're like, oh, well, you
Right.
told me this last time, and you told me this time. So here's the 7 new supplements you should be buying. And then
Yeah.
you go, okay, all right.
And can this part tell you, get more into the specifics of what would be helpful about having another set of eyes on this day to day? Because everything it's saying makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
That you would need someone who's really paying attention, who's really caught up to date, who understands the nuances. And so, yeah, what would it see being accomplished and having that sort of accountability buddy in that, or someone that could look over this.
Yeah. Yeah, just that would be required. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah, I need to be able to talk to the same person maybe once a week for a month rather than however often I've met with other doctors and professionals.
Mm-hmm.
Just so they can say, all right, try this. Here, we've ruled this out. And I'm doing so much of that on my own, but I'm not getting enough outside professional help with it.
With someone sort of looking for the patterns and
Yeah.
the root causes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. And does it have any ideas, or do you have any ideas on some creative new ways that you might go about finding that or creating more of that?
Yes, and that's something I actually just started a couple of days ago, and so we haven't gotten the result from that yet of
Mm-hmm.
kind of a new project of looking for someone to do that, but yeah, that's at the top of the list, and we're gonna keep on it tomorrow.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it does help. The part that's sick of talking about it, it's like, right, so pay someone that you can talk to about it as much as you need to, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really sees the importance in that, and it's letting you know that it feels like that's what it needs, that the system needs.
Mm-hmm.
And would it like to brainstorm at all with you now? I know you said there's some things that have not panned out completely yet, and we'll see. Is there anything else that it might need from you or that it could use?
The only message I'm getting is spend more money. I've been pretty frugal kind of my whole life. And it's like, okay, if you're this age, at this stage in your life, now's the time. Spend the money. So yeah, just wants me to do that.
Invest in that.
Yep. And that's good. I do need that reminder. So I'm making a note of that and keep reminding myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you sense any parts in opposition to that need?
No.
Great. So you can let it know you're making note of that.
Mm-hmm.
If those needs make sense to you, you've got your eyes on them. How does it feel about that?
Good. Yeah. Yeah, it feels good. And it says, yeah, that will solve its concern of talking about it so much in other relationships. That'll solve the problem at many levels.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of see those levels that it's mentioning.
Yes.
Yeah. How would this part like to stay in touch with you going forward?
Good question. It says it doesn't need to, but it just tells me I should do the exile work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think about that?
That it is right. And I think there are probably two. I think there's two kind of exiles that I'm noticing. One is that kind of 13, 14-year-old. The other feels younger, and that was the more wanted to cry, but doesn't feel like it can. That felt much younger.
Yeah, any age range that you're sensing on that?
It feels like 5 or 6, but I wasn't able to. I kept trying to like see what else I could see, and I just kept kind of coming up with strange environments that didn't make sense. And
yeah,
I felt like I was,
yeah, that's okay. It can show you at the rate that feels right for it. And it might feel right, and you can check this out with the part or parts to first work with that older, more 13, 14-year-old first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got them both on my list here.
Right. Yeah. And if it changes its mind and it wants to get in touch with you at any point in this process and this journey, you can let it know it's welcome to do that.
Yeah. Got any other questions?
I don't. Do you have any other questions for this part?
I don't, but I feel like I should triple check that in myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, I got one. I'll ask it. What question does it want to be asked? Or what question did we forget?
Mm-hmm.
None. Yeah, it's just it just wants me to remember that it does have a positive side to it. This part that at first blush it doesn't feel like it has any positive qualities, but it's saying like, no, these are all important messages.
Yeah.
And so I should listen and maybe look out for any parts that want to push it away.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you feel like you see
that's another one I need to get on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who are the ones that push it away?
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah, that's really great information.
Yeah.
Well, we have some more time if that feels like something you want to explore a little bit.
Yeah, I would like to, because I'm getting confused when I try to figure it out here in my own notes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the part that says it's sick of talking about it because it's as this, it's embarrassed or whatever. But I guess there are also parts that are sick of that part, or parts that are don't want its message to come up. I don't know. I'm confusing myself.
I think I understand.
Yeah.
You know, this part that doesn't want you to talk about this all the time or overwhelm people or wear out their patience because of the very good reasons that it stated. In a way, another part might be feeling like, well, it's so focused on that it's doing exactly what it said it didn't want to do. Does that make sense?
No, I'm just confused.
Well, you could also just be feeling this part's exhaustion with its role. And
all right, let me just rewind because I'm going to go back to the last thing that did make sense to me. This part was saying that feeling you have of not wanting to share it. Let's say the embarrassed feeling, that's really important. And it's not for the obvious reason of like, don't share it because somebody, whatever. But it's actually, if I listen to this part, it's motivating me to get well. It's motivating me to work with exiles. You know, it's not just as simple as that message that how I originally kind of interpreted.
Got it.
So it's saying whatever is the part of me, I guess, that just isn't listening or is pushing it away. I'll keep an eye out. Yeah.
And what you've shared makes sense. That this part, it's not as simple as don't do these things because other people have these reactions. It's also, when we asked what it needed, shared some really specific ways in which it would like you to help the system, that it's trying to help the system, motivating you, like you said.
Right.
Yeah.
It might just be as simple as it's saying I should listen to it.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got my list of parts to work with in the future.
Nice. Yeah, and that's an ongoing question that you can have with it as far as what parts get in the way of you listening to it.
Right. Yeah, I need to sit with that a little longer. But I can do that. Can do that another time.
Yeah. Huge thank you to this part. Sounds like you got a lot of good information here.
Yeah, I think I figured out that other part. Because I was wondering, like, what is there a part that's pushing away being embarrassed? It's not like I'm looking for, like, is there some like false confidence part or something, but and not finding that. I think it's actually like more of like depressed. It's like depressed part.
Yeah. Tired of trying to figure all of that out.
Yeah. And so what? Yeah, because it shows up as like, okay, get off the phone, fuck it. It's that, like we can't be embarrassed, and we just can't deal with any of that. So it's just mute. It just kind of mutes everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure if you have not already, that exploring that would reveal some very good intentions and reasons
Right.
why it does that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry if this was a confusing one.
No, you're completely good.
I get the feeling when I listen back to it, it'll make a lot more sense to me.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure it will. And it makes a lot of sense to me. Um, Apologies on my end if I confuse anything at any time. But it does. Yeah, it all does make a lot of sense.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Any questions for me? Anything else you want to go over?
No, I don't think so. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it too. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you again.
I
Okay.
hope you have a good night.
Okay. See ya.
All right. Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.